Flosstube number 26. It is May 2nd, 2024. It is a dark, rainy day today with thunder. So I have Artemis right here. This is what we're working with. She knows full well that the thunders are going to get her. So she must be under Mama's feet. And thus she is under Mama's feet. So if you hear scuffling around and wiggling, it's her right here under my feet. So, now I am going to change things up a little. Before, we always did life, cross-stitch, sewing, gardening, but I am going to switch things around because I know not everybody cares about my life and my kittens. So we're going to start with cross-stitch, sewing, gardening, then life at the end. Now, I haven't had any ugly comments on my videos, but I have seen some ugly comments on others. Not sure why people feel the need to be ugly on the internet, but it's the world we live in. I have seen some comments from people saying nobody cares about your dysfunctional life or your stupid kids or your stupid cats. Just, you know, if you want to talk about that, start a blog and just show us the cross stitch. I will say, if I do see a comment like that, it will be immediately deleted. But in the interest that, yes, there may be some people who don't care and just want to see the cross stitch, I will start with the cross stitch and just switch things around. But as I said, I'm not going to deal with ugly comments. They'll be deleted. So in the interest of that, that's what I'm going to do. Down below, I will try to have chapter markers so that, you know, whatever. So you know when is what, I guess. But anyway, it is a gray, dark, rainy, thundery day. So you may hear thunder, you may hear Artemis wiggling, and the light could be better. But this is what we're working with, and we're going to make the best of it. And I have cat hair in my eyeball. I did have a jelly bean in here, but he's gone to torment his brother. Or possibly his sister, because he hasn't had his butt whooped today. You know, I think he has a learning disability. No matter how many times she beats him up, he just keeps coming back for more. I got nothing. But anyway, we'll get on with it. I'm Sherry. This is my channel predominantly about cross stitch. Hecate's Needle. You can also find me under Hecate's Needle on Instagram as well. Welcome to my craft room. If you're new here, welcome. I'm glad you took time out of your day to see what I have to ramble about. If you like something you see, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment. I love comments, the whole bit. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome. I'm always happy to see you, and thank you to all of my subscribers. I honestly never expected anybody to care what I had to say. So I know my channel is small, and that's okay. It's mine. On to cross stitch. For cross stitch, I do have some starts. I have a start and finish, and then I have some progress. I also have a little bit of haul, not a lot, and some stitchy kindness. So I guess we'll start with the start and finish. I have been keeping up with my checklist. Now, we are in May, and I've only done 3 of the things for April. But I have done everything for March. So I did get that caught up. You know, with all the illnesses and everything, it just is what it is. You know, I'm doing the best I can with what I got. That's all I got. But our start and finish. Now, I did a little Halloween ornament. He is a happy little pumpkin. And that is the name of it. Now, he was stitched. He was stitched on 14 count Aida in lilac, and it's coming off blue, but it's actually a pale purple. It is the color lilac, 14 count Aida, DMC floss, nothing fancy. This is a pattern from Just Cross Stitch magazine, the 2018 Halloween edition. The pattern is called Pumpkit. But he turned out really cute. And I think I may try and finish him into a hoop. I started him and finished him all in one day. It was an easy stitch. Now, on to new starts. I had mentioned that I'm crazy. I've lost my mind and senility has set in. I signed up for 5 separate stitch-alongs this year because move my floss. I have begun the Deadly Aquarium stitch along. Now, this stitch along is done by Lola Crow cross stitch. Find the picture. All that's been released thus far is the frame, which is very nice, very cool. As I said, I just started it. In fact, yesterday. I just started it yesterday. This is all I've gotten done. But we're working on it. And it is a start. And that's what matters. So, that is the Deadly Aquarium Stitch Along by Lola Crow. Cross stitch. It is in the bag that I made myself specifically for this cross stitch. Lovely sea turtles, because sea turtles are awesome. So, there's my first one. Well, my second new start because of the little ornament. The next new start. Now, I had mentioned, since I finished the tomato, the lettuce and tomato, those seed pack towels, I had my husband choose a new project from our mystical magical cup of projects. And he had chosen this one, the Bee Mandala. This is a pattern by Doreen Jones. It is from the World of Cross Stitching magazine, May 2021 edition. Now, my husband used to keep bees, and he plans to get back into it probably by no later than next spring. So we really like bees. So I've got this one, and I just started it. I don't have a big start, but this is what I have thus far. 2 little flowers. Now I started this in the center because it's a mandala, so I'll just work my way out. The fabric is it's a 14 count Aida in the colorway Frosty by Witch's Garden Crafts. This was a fabric from my Fabric of the Month Club. I have thus far done 236 stitches, and it is 3% complete. So I'm off to a roaring start. But that is, again, the Bee Mandala by Doreen Jones. World of Cross Stitching Magazine, 2021. So those are my new starts, and that is my finish. So on to progress. This past couple weeks, I worked on my Riolis kit, the Maine Coon. I'm using all kit materials, so it's a 10 count black Aida, and it's the acrylic wool. I need something to go on the back. Now, the area I was working in, I've been filling in this ear, and I moved down and filled in some of this and started on this ear. Now I currently have done, I'm at 38% on this one. So he's a little over a third of the way finished. But right now it's going a little slower. I'm working with a blend in these ears. So, but he's at 38% done. Now, this one is not necessarily a difficult stitch at all. And with a 10 count Aida, even my blind self can see it, even if it is on black. But he's coming along nicely. Now, the rest of the ones I've worked on have all been my stitch-alongs. It's okay. The thunders are gonna get her. Shit. Let me show you. Right there. Right there. Where you can't possibly miss her. Now the next one I've worked on is the Femurs Fungi. This is a stitch along by Fine Frog Stitching. And I'm actually caught up with this one. It is completely caught up. This is a 14 count Aida by Witch's Garden Crafts in the colorway Eclipse that she specifically dyed for this stitch along. Now, as I mentioned last time, this is a 14 count Aida, but I think it shrunk in the dyeing process because I measured it and it's actually a 16 count Aida, and the holes are so tight that I'm having to use a small sharp needle as opposed to like the ball tip. But I am completely caught up with this one. And the section I stitched was the little cat skull with all the little mushrooms. But the frame is complete. It is finished. This one is finished. and I'm liking the way it turns out. Now, I'm not enjoying stitching on this fabric, which is odd because normally I absolutely love Witch's Garden Crafts fabric, but this one, like I said, the holes are so tight that I'm having to use a sharp pointed needle, and it frays the floss as I'm stitching. So I'm having to use shorter lengths of floss. But it's coming along nicely, and I am actually caught up. I didn't show you the bags for my other ones. The Bee Mandala is in this project bag that I made myself. Happy little kittens, because we like happy little kittens. The Riola's kit, the Maine Coon, is in this bag, which is more sea turtles and seahorses and seashells. The Femurs and Fungi is in this bag, and it is a metallic brocade that I made myself. I make all of my own project bags. I made them all. So the next one I worked on was the Herbalist Stitch Along, and it is by World on a String by Dara. And this one also, I am completely caught up. And this is what we have thus far. Now, the first section we did, of course, was the frame and the little mortar and pestle. The next one we did was the stinging nettles. Then we had a tincture, and then we had plantain. Now, she's releasing one piece each Monday, so it's a weekly release, but they are such small little pieces that it takes me like an hour, and they're done. So this one has actually been easy to keep up with. But again, that's the Herbalist Stitch Along by World on a String by Dara. And it is in this bag, which has an herbal motif, which I made just for that stitch along. The last one I worked on was another stitch along because I'm crazy. This one is the Beautiful Biomes Stitch Along by Pixel Pixie. And this one I'm actually behind. This one I'm working on the frame. Now the frame is not necessarily all that difficult. It's just I've been limited in time. This is stitched on, now she has released the first section, the first band. These are going across, and the first band is the tundra. And I think what I'll do is finish this frame motif along the top and then stitch in just that band and then just do the tundra, because the tundra doesn't look like it's going to take that long. This is one that is meant to be stitched in one color. So I've got the fabric, which this fabric is in the color, it is a 14 count Aida, and it's in the color Sand. And it's by Fiber on a Whim. Now, this motif is like I said, it's not difficult. It is very repetitive. Words and syllables are hard. But it's just a matter of timing. I haven't had the time. But now that we're all well again, nobody is sick, knock on wood, hopefully I can start making progress. Not only that, but we've been out in the garden harvesting like crazy, so that's also taken up some of my time. Okay, why why am I having problems with this? I don't understand. Oh, now the Herbalist stitch along, I don't think I mentioned, it is being stitched on a 14 count Aida in the color Seafoam Green. It's just a piece of fabric I had on hand, and I just pulled it out of my stash because I thought it would go perfect with this. And I like it. I like it. So I chose well. Those are all the projects I have worked on the past couple weeks. But now, like I said, now that we're all well, we're all healthy again, nobody is sick, thank goodness, I can start making more progress. Maybe get caught up on a few more of the stitch alongs. Now, I haven't even started the Vampirum stitch along by Noctiflora. The frame is, or the title at the top has been released, but I have not started it because I've simply not had time. And like I said, you know, I probably will not be able to keep up with all 5 of these stitch alongs. I'll try. That's all I can do. But, you know, some of them may just be stitched on my own time. They may not follow. Now, the Herbalist has been easy to keep up with. Like I said, once I got that frame done, filling in the little motifs has been super quick and easy. The Femurs and Fungi, again, I got all the frames done, so filling in the motifs has been fairly quick and easy. Now, they could be quicker and easier if they were on a different fabric, but we're making it work because I put in all the work to stitch those frames. I'm not starting over and I'm not ripping them out. So we're gonna make it work. Now, plans. My plans are to, of course, finish the frame for the Deadly Aquarium, get that first band done on Beautiful Biomes. Once I get that band done, then I can continue filling in the frame. And then, of course, keep up with my other stitch alongs. I want to start the Vampirum and then start knocking these out. Okay. Maybe one day I can get caught up on my checklist. I also plan to go ahead and order the bead pack for the Bellatrix. My Bella Filipina. My husband had actually picked that out of the Stitchy cup, but I didn't have any of the stuff, so I need to do that. I think what I'm going to do, I have some big chunks of Aida 14 count, so I think what I may do is cut a piece to size and dye it myself for the Bella Filipina. That will save money on the fabric because it's a pretty big piece. But I have the entire set of DMC, so I'm not worried about that. But I do have to order the Krynic braids, and I think there's one color from the Karen Water Lilies. I need to order those. But I think cutting the fabric out and just dyeing it myself, that'll save a big chunk of money. So I can go ahead and get the bead pack and the Krynic braid and the water lilies. And then we'll get that kitted up and maybe start it. Now, I know there are all kinds of challenges in May. There's Stitch Mania, there's Monogamous May, words and syllables. There's Mira May. I'm not doing any of that. I don't do challenges because I know as soon as I sign up for a challenge, then it becomes a have to instead of want to, and I don't want to. And feeling like I have to do something makes me not want to do anything, do that something. So I don't participate in challenges. Not going to. Now I will do stitch alongs, obviously, and I'll do stitch alongs with other, other creators. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But I'm not going to do challenges. I want to stitch anyway, so I don't need a challenge to make me want to stitch, if that makes sense. But as I said, I'm gonna keep rocking on the stitch alongs. I know Owl Forest Embroidery has already announced that their stitch along for 2024 is going to be mushrooms. I intend to do that one because if I'm going to do 5, I might as well do 6, right? And I did actually make a project bag for it. Yay! But otherwise, those are my plans, to just keep doing what I'm doing. I did mention I got some haul. And the first thing I got okay. The first thing I got was my fabric of the month for April, by Witch's Garden Crafts. Every month I get an 1/8 of a yard, 14 count Aida, and this month the colorway is Goldenrod. I know there's a glare. It is in a golden yellow. There we go. It's actually darker than what it's coming out on camera. It's brighter. It's a golden, there we go. It is a golden yellow bordering on mustard, which is very bright and pretty. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to stitch on it, but something will be stitched on it. I promise you that. Now, whenever she sends an order of fabric, she always sends like a little sample to go with it. And this time, the sample she sent looks like the Eclipse fabric that I'm using for my Femurs and Fungi. But this little square is perfectly big enough for a Halloween ornament, so I'll put it in my scrap box. So there was my fabric of the month for April. She sends them the last week of the month. The next thing I got was a kit. It is a Riolis kit, and it is one of their black work kits. And it is Magic of Time. Now, I got this kit because this is the cross stitch that I plan to do for my son for Christmas this year. So this one will be started soon. And all of this around the hourglass is black work, which I like black work, so that's fine. But I plan to do this one for my son for Christmas this year, so it will be started soon. Now, because nothing can travel alone, I went ahead and got a piece of fabric to go with it. And this is 16 count Aida, and it is in the colorway Dusk, and it is a dark charcoal gray. And you can see right through it, because of course you can. There we go. It is a dark charcoal gray. And I have plenty of Halloween projects planned. One of them will go on this. In fact, I was thinking about doing a project from the Creepy Cross Stitch book with a little bat on it, and I may put him on this if it's big enough. I took this out of the baggie, and I'm not smart enough to be able to put it back in the bag. How does that work? There we go. So I got those, and then I got one other project, and this is just a pattern, and it is just a PDF pattern. But it is by Crafty Bow Chic, and it is Cyberpunk Streets. My son plays Cyberpunk. He really likes it, so I was thinking I would do this for him. It won't be for Christmas, maybe for his birthday next year or something. I mean, his birthday is in August, so I really don't have time to stitch this before his birthday this year. But this may be his project for next year, because I think he'll really like that one. Those were the things I bought. Now, I mentioned I got some Stitchy Kindness. Now, this was a little package that I got from Laura from I Stitch Birds. She sent me a kit of little magnets, which are cute as can be, and I will enjoy stitching those up and putting them on my refrigerator in the kitchen, because I do can our garden produce. So those are just perfect. The next thing she sent was a tiny little pattern of a Banksia. She knows I love them. That one I will also be stitching, because it's really cute. And then she sent me, now she stitched this and made it, and I love it because I love sunflowers. So I'm super thrilled about that. But inside, she put a needle and a needle minder. And the needle minder says, I need space for more plants. Which is perfect for me, because I do need space for more plants. So I was super excited to get that. That's awesome. Yeah. And so I got that. And that was my Stitchy Kindness. Now, what did I do? I did something. Okay. So those are my acquisitions, and that's cross stitch. I'm overwhelming myself, but you know what, it is what it is. Now, on to sewing. I have actually gotten some sewing done. Now, I did make a summer top for my daughter, but she's carried it off before I could get a picture of it, so. But I've also been making project bags. Now, I showed you the project bag I made for my deadlyaquariumsal. That one. Now, I also made this one. This one I'm going to use for the Owl Forest stitch along with the mushrooms. Now, this one does not have the vinyl front. It's just all fabric. It's just a quilted bag. But I made this one. Then I made this one with all kinds of kitties. And I've actually kitted up my Vampirum SAL in this one. But I made this one. I also made, there's a loose thread. Look at that. I also made this one. Again, no vinyl front on this one. It's just a regular bag. And then I finally made the second one in the Quilt As You Go kit my husband had gotten me for Christmas. And it is huge. But the back of it looks like this. All kinds of kitties. And ladybugs and flowers. So there's the back. And then the front is a vinyl front. And it's all kinds of little paw prints. So, and flowers and ladybugs. So I made this, and like I said, it is huge. This may be what the Bellatrix goes into. Now that one, like I said, that one was a Quilt As You Go kit that my husband got me for Christmas. But the others I made because most of my project bags were smaller. And since I'm doing these larger projects, I wanted some more bigger bags. So I made those. Now, normally I like the handles on them, but for some reason I just didn't feel like doing it. I can always stitch handles on them later if I want to. But that's what I got done in sewing. I still have a few more bags to make from remnants of fabric. I will start working on those. And then of course I have my basket of garments up there to sew. So, and I also have a quilt that I need to cut the pieces out for so that I can start stitching that up. So, those are my plans for sewing. I'm also thinking about maybe making some quilted floor mats. We have wood floors, so in the winter they get cold on the feet. They really do. So I wouldn't mind making some quilted floor covers for our floor mats, especially for like the kitchen and maybe in the bedrooms by the beds, but we'll see. And I think that's it for sewing. I bought some patterns, but they haven't come yet. So yeah. On to garden. Garden, we have harvested so many snow peas. Probably so far we've got about 4-gallon bags of snow peas, and the vines are covered with flowers and baby peas. Normally by now we are in the 90 degrees Fahrenheit, but this year has been a mild spring. We are not as hot as we normally are. Normally our peas have burned off by now, but they're still going strong because we haven't gotten those high temperatures yet. Now they're coming. We know they're coming, but they're not here yet. So we're still harvesting peas. Our garlic is fine. Our onions have sprouted. Our potatoes have sprouted. We've transplanted the tomatoes. We've transplanted most of the peppers. We've planted the cucumbers, winter squash, summer squash. Those are all growing. So our garden is doing well. We are still working on tearing down the old coops and chicken run so that we can put up the garden tunnel and more raised beds. We are going to empty some of the older beds in our old garden, and we're going to build them up. We're going to build new beds, higher beds, or I should say taller beds. So we're working on it. Now of course it's raining, so we're not going to work on anything today. We'll probably sit, have chicken and green pepper sandwiches for dinner, and watch Fallout. So that's fine. And I'm going to stitch. And that's really it for the garden. The garden is going. It's doing what gardens do. On to life. Life is better. Now that none of us are sick and we're all better. Now, we did have to take Cheeto in because he got an upper respiratory infection. Literally, the poor baby got allergies and they developed a sinus infection. So we had to take him to get antibiotics. But he's better now. He's better. Poor baby was coughing so much he was throwing up. But we got him all healed up and he's fine. Just a couple sneezes here and there. Snickers has also been sneezing, but just here and there. Nothing bad. Jelly Bean has had the leaky eyes. But otherwise he's been okay. And Hecate's fine. Hecate says, I don't care. Jelly Bean is still pouncing her every chance he gets, and you know, she is just whooping his butt. It's like that boy wakes up and says, I have to start my day with a beating, and then I have to end my day with a beating, and I have to have 3 or 4 more beatings in between. Now, he did get up on the kitchen cabinet. Now, we have a tall, like, pantry cabinet in our garage. And that's where we keep our empty canning jars, our mason jars. Now, I had emptied some jars. When our refrigerator died, we had to throw out some stuff. And I had emptied those jars and washed them. And they were stuff like homemade mayonnaise and things. You know, stuff I can make again, no big deal. But I had washed all those jars and put them in the dish strainer to dry overnight. Well, then my husband got up the next day, and instead of putting them away in the cabinet in the garage, he just put them on the kitchen cabinet, or the kitchen countertop, and left them there and went to work. I got up the next morning, and I stepped into the kitchen just in time to see Jelly Bean go, whack! And the entire kitchen floor was covered with shattered glass. So my husband got in trouble. And because he got in trouble for that, every day this week he's come home from work with a Starbucks for me. Because I got to clean up all the broken glass while trying to keep 4 cats and a dog and a daughter from stepping in it. Because Jelly Bean, oh, Jelly Bean, he is a demon. He is a demon, but I love him, and he's adorable, and he's Mama's demon, and he loves his mama. He's my baby Bean, and he knows it, but oh my word. Yesterday, I was painting my nails, and here comes Jelly Bean. Oh, look, it's an open bottle of nail polish. Whack! All over the kitchen floor. So I had to clean all of that up. I have had cats. I have had lots of cats over the years, and I've never had one that was so dedicated to knocking things off of surfaces. I know they do it. All of my cats have done it at least once, but he is always doing it. Always. I took off my ring the other day because I was scrubbing something. It took me 3 days to find it again. He had whacked it off the dresser. I have a little ring dish. He'd whacked the whole little dish off the dresser, and it had gone under the dresser. So I had my husband move the dresser away from the wall for me, and there was my ring. I got nothing. He's a jelly bean. Snickers is fine. Cheeto is the sweetest, most laid back, loving cat ever. Hecate is Hecate. Just don't make her dirty. And don't breathe her air, because that offends her too. But Jelly Bean is something. He's a force of nature. And it's a toss-up on any given day whether he's going to be a force for good or force for evil. Most of the time, evil wins. But he's my bean, and I love him. Artemis is fine. Artemis is just hoping that the thunders don't get her. Because that poor hound. Matter of fact, the other night we had storms. Nobody slept because the thunder was coming to get Artemis, and she was going to make sure we all knew it. Nobody slept. Even the cats got up and went upstairs to the loft because they said, you know what, enough of your nonsense, okay? It's nighttime. We're trying to sleep. So that's a thing. But otherwise, life is good. Life is going on. My husband went out of town, but he's back. That's when I got a lot of stitching done. I get more stitching done when he's out of town, because my daughter and I get up early. I get up when he leaves for work, and he leaves for work before 7 a.m. Now, I may just lounge around. I'm not necessarily doing anything, but I'm up, I'm awake. And so I might stitch and have my mocha or tea, whatever I'm drinking that morning. I might play a video game. It just depends on my mood. And then once I wake my daughter up, we don't really eat breakfast. We kind of eat a brunch thing between 10 and 11. Okay. And then by 5 o'clock, if my husband's not home, if he's out of town, we'll eat dinner at 5. And then after dinner, I'll go outside, take care of the chickens, water anything that needs water in the garden, and then go on. And then I have the rest of the evening to just stitch. And that's what I'll do. When he's home, he doesn't get home until almost 7 o'clock. So we don't eat until almost 8 o'clock. Now he cleans the kitchen. I don't. We have a deal. If I cook, he cleans. If he cooks, I clean. He never cooks. Very seldom does he cook. He can cook. He just chooses not to. Which is fine. I don't mind cooking. I like to cook. And I hate to clean. So it works out. I'll cook and you clean. But we eat late. And so by the time we're finished eating, I have maybe an hour to stitch at night. And that's it. And that's if he doesn't want me to help him with something for work. Because I am better with technology than he is. I'm better on computers. I'm also better with words and syllables, although sometimes when I'm speaking you can't tell. Okay. But what he'll do is when he's typing something up for work, either he'll have me type it because he can't figure out how to put his words on paper, or he'll have me proofread it for him and edit it. So if I'm not doing any of that, then I'll be stitching in the evening. But oftentimes I am helping him with something, and so I can't stitch. When he's out of town, I have more time to stitch. I also don't have to go to bed as early because he goes to bed early. I don't. Usually he'll go to bed about 10:30, and then I lay awake for like an hour and a half and play, on my Switch. So, but when he's out of town, I get to stitch more. In any case, other than that, life is fine. My son is currently, He's thinking about moving to Germany to do his grad school, which is fine. He just graduated with his bachelor in December. He majored in anthropology with a minor in political science. I think he wants to do something with advocacy, but he wants to go to grad school in Germany. So he is currently focused on that. Otherwise, we're fine. We're fine. And I promise I won't let the thunders get Artemis. She will be safe. My poor hound. You know, pits get a bad rap. Everybody thinks they're so mean. Now, she is part pit and part lab. But she is scared of everything. She is Jellybean's best friend. Jellybean loves his dog. He loves his hound. Oh my God, he rubs on her and he purrs and he wants to lay with her and he wants to take his nap snuggled up with her, and she is terrified of him. My poor Bean. He loves her so much, but she's scared of everything. She's scared of everything. And now, I say she wouldn't hurt a fly. Actually, she hates children, and she doesn't want anything to do with them. Which is why we adopted her. We don't have small children. We don't know anyone who does have small children. We don't have grandchildren. We won't have grandchildren. So we're the best home for her because we don't have to worry about it. She was abused before we rescued her, and I don't know the particulars. I don't know anything about it, but for whatever reason, she hates children. So, you know, when they told us that, I'm like, oh yeah, give her over. We'll take her home because we don't have any children, so she can have a happy, stress-free home here, except for the baby. Now, she has come a long way. When we first got her, oh my God, if you looked at her, she peed. She was so scared she peed. She's gotten out of that. She is totally secure. Now, I will say, anybody who comes on our property, either me or my husband have to let them in, or she'll attack them. She is a good guard dog. But once we tell her it's okay, then she goes on her way and she's happy and she wants her petting and her loves. But yeah, I don't know where they get the information that pit bulls are so mean and so vicious and aggressive, because she's not. She's sweet as can be. And she's a big baby. My son calls her the piglet hound because she's all pink. She has pink eyes, pink nose, pink belly, and she's scared of everything. So he calls her the piglet hound after Piglet from Winnie the Pooh. I don't know. My poor baby. She's a good dog, though. She's mama's baby. But anyway, you know, we're still working on everything. We're doing what we do, trying to get things done. We want to take some day trips, but there's just not been anything to do. We still need to take a trip to the Antique Rose Emporium because we didn't get to go for our anniversary because my husband was deathly ill. We haven't done that. Now, he did take off Thursday and Friday, so we had a long weekend together. That was nice. We got some stuff done. But otherwise, we're just here doing our thing. I did make raspberry jam. That's a thing. Okay. Our wild grapes are coming in, so I'll probably make some muscadine jelly. But otherwise, we're just doing what we do. Now, I did want to give a shout out to a Flosstuber that I've been watching. I absolutely love her. Her channel is Lady Marmalade in Stitches. Her name is Sabrina. She is absolutely lovely. She does beautiful, beautiful projects, beautiful stitching. Check her out. She does a variety of different things. She'll do some samplers. She'll do some fancy ladies. She'll do some, you know, she does a little bit of everything. Lovely projects. And very, very enjoyable. So Lady Marmalade and Stitches. Check her out. She's awesome. She is in Australia. That's my shout out for this week. I'm gonna go stitch. Maybe I'll work on my beautiful biomes. See if I can get that caught up. Or maybe the Deadly Aquarium. I don't know. Maybe I'll just, I don't know, put it on a spin the wheel app or something. What am I gonna stitch today? But anyway, that's it for me today. I'm just gonna sit here on my dark rainy day and drink my lemonade and probably do some stitching once I get this video edited. But in any case, thank you once again for everyone who has subscribed and liked and commented. I will always answer your comments. I love reading them. If you're new here and you've seen something you like, something you enjoyed, if you want to see if I drive myself insane and senile and give myself an aneurysm with all these stitch alongs I decided to do this year, feel free to like and subscribe. Hit the little bell to be notified. The next time I post, I do post every 2 weeks. I post on a Thursday. And I chose Thursday because Friday is my house cleaning day. I can't clean when my husband's in the house. It doesn't work. So I clean on Friday. And that way we can just enjoy and relax on the weekend or work outside, whatever the case may be. But anyway, I post every other Thursday. And every once in a while, I might do an extra for something. I don't know what. But anyway, it's Thursday. So it's late enough that I can say, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope it's okay. She belched. Nice. Manners are not a thing. I hope you have an amazing weekend. Hopefully your weather's better than mine right now. And I'll see you next time.